そんな殊勝な立ちか。うわっ！
リンはあんたに振られたとかでぐちぐち言ってくるし、早くどうにかしてよ。
は？風紀委員などとても務まるわけがありませんので、きっぱりとお断りさせていただきたいのですが。いや、風紀委員の勧誘断っただけだからな。
変なわだかまり抱えたままにすんなって。
Okay, so episode 10 of Dream Boy's a Realist, and there's two things that I want to say right up front in the video before I forget. First thing, yo, Natsukawa, she's got it bad. Like, she's got it bad, okay? Second thing is, I know a lot of you have said there's just no way, and I believe you. I do. But in my heart of hearts, I hope that Sasaki, the middle school girl that, well, I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but I hope that she is Sasaki, the dude who's going after Natsukawa. I hope that she is his little sister. I hope, like, I cannot wait. Imagine that moment for, like, I think it's coming, okay? But imagine the middle school, the people that come to, not interview the school, but they come, like, for school's tours or, to kind of get, I forget what the word is. You guys can put it in the comment, be like, yo, Dom, you stupid. Orientation, okay? They come for orientation. I hope that A, she got into that school, okay? So A, that's already gonna be, he got some girl, he got hooked up. And B, I hope that Sasaki is there. He's like, oh, it's my little sister. She's like, oh, Sajo. He's like, like, oh my God. It's gonna be such an epic moment that we've been building up to forever. And I really want it to happen. It needs, like, the anime gods need to give us this one. Honestly, like, we need this one. This one, we need it in, the bag, okay? Like, this is an instant win and will instantly gratify us and elevate the anime, okay? So there's those two things. So, okay, let's talk about this episode. Essentially, there's a couple of major things that happen here. Is Shinomiya. I love Shinomiya. Like, I think Shinomiya is, like, I think for me, it's Sasaki, the middle school girl, and then I think it's Shinomiya right then and there. And then it's all, honestly, for me personally, not for, like, Sajo romantically, it's the sister. Like, I love his sister. Like, she's doing little feet stuff. I was like, oof, all me, baby. So, like, I love all of that, okay? So, I think that's the level of how the girls are there is, middle school girl first, then Shinomiya, and then this. So, before I get into the episode too, let me say this up front too. Is the other frustration I have with the show, and I've had it habitually now, is his problem with Sasaki being 1 year younger than him and being in middle school, right? Like, I can understand, I'm watching an anime show and homeboy is 20 or he works at a convenience store or he's in high school, or no, not high school, he's in college, okay? If, let's say Sajo was a college student or was an adult and worked in a convenience store or, like, just like, corporate Japan, right? And he met a girl and she ended up being a middle school girl, that, there was already a show about that, right? The girl who, was on the streets and whatever. It was a really weird show. But there was a girl on the streets and she was like a high school girl, and he, this old dude like 30 took her into his home, and that was weird. That show, I don't like it. I don't like that show. It just gave off weirdo vibes. Wasn't a fan of that one. But if that was like the situation, yeah, 100%. Never like, he keeps like, oh, there's the middle schooler. There she goes. There's the middle schooler. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, I get it, bro. Lay off. She's a year younger than you. And I've said this multiple times. Like, there can be people in your grade group that is a year or 2 years younger, or even the vice versa. Like, I think my canonical thing is, like, my son, and he's in first grade, right? There's a student in his class that is 7. So he just turned 7. There's a kid that's 7, right? There's a kid in my daughter's class that's a year older, right? So it's possible for you to be in the same group, but be a year or even like 2 years, apart because of how birthdays fall and some other nonsense. So I just think that's just such weirdo behavior from him. And I get it, he's a kid. I get kid mentality. You suddenly feel like superior, like, you big shit, you know what I mean? But then it's like, that's the same way like Shinomiya on this other side, right? Like, she's obviously older than Sajo. She's like 2 years older because she's a senior, I think, about to graduate, right? So she's like 2 years older, and she's still getting kind of like flustered and He talked about seeing her. He knows that he's putting the Rizzler moves on her, right? So he knows that he could probably like, he could probably make that happen, if he put a little effort, you know what I mean? They're 2 years apart, what is she gonna be like? Oh, look at you, little freshman, little freshman meat. It's like, it's just such weirdo writing, you know what I mean? Just rubs me the wrong way. Okay, so back to the episode. Okay, so let's kind of start the episode. That's my whole thing. I hate that. I hate that thing. If they were years apart or that he was an adult or something, I totally get it, but they're 1 year apart and she's going to do orientation and probably literally show up, and next year he'll be a sophomore or junior, whatever they call it. There's only 3 years of high school in Japan. So whatever they call it, he'll be a second year, she'll be a first year, and then suddenly it's totally okay. Okay, anyways. So episode-wise, right? So episode goes like this. Sajo's sister wants him to help out the disciplinary committee, calls up Shinomiya because his sister gaslit him. He then says, I'm going to volunteer. I would love to see you. She gets flustered. Okay, that peg knocked over, okay? Then the next part, he goes to go and help. As that happens, Natsukawa and Sasaki getting closer. You can tell that they're oil and water, right? They look good together, but they don't mix. They're just their personalities. They're not cohesive, and that happens sometimes. Sometimes you can even go on dates and stuff like this with people, but they look great. Surface level, they stand by each other like, wow, perfect couple, but they just don't. They just don't get along, right? They just don't have that same level of not intimacy, but just cohesive. Like could they be really cool friends and hang out and have tons of stuff to talk about? That it just seems like it's very surface level, and they just don't. So they just don't mix, and that's what the show showed us, right? Then the show goes into the next. I know I'm forgetting a whole other bookstore stuff. I'll get back to that one. But then the show shows us that Sajo's kind of brainwashed Natsukawa a little bit, and because he for the past 18 months or so, since their last year in middle school, he's just been showering her with honestly love and affection, right? And he filled in a void that I don't think she realized was empty, and he filled the void. He just filled the void. Never give up, never surrender. You know what I mean? He just kept going and gassing her up and being there for her, and being a shoulder to cry on, and being somebody she can rely on, and being someone that she always knows will be there. And by doing so, right, she was able to forget some of her real life problems that was familial, and she was able to be more friendly with other people because they approached her more. And for her, he opened up something that wasn't available to her before just by being himself. And because of his awakening, he pulled it back and he let her know, yeah, I'm sorry. I get it. My obsession with you went too far. I'm pulling back. Sorry. I'm not going to be there as I was anymore. I know I'm too much. And that kind of broke her in a way. And then him fulfilling that, and actually because he's gotten a part-time job and he's signing up, just by nature of him now being busy, filling his time with other things. Not that he just doesn't want to be there for her, but he also is refusing to. And then his other things that are taking him away from the ability to even be there, he's really not. So now she's in this mindset of I know my hole is there, and the thing that filled it is gone. I need it back. I need that piece of me back. So she's frantically searching for him. So I'm hoping that next episode we get a confession from her, and I think that would be a nice end to the season. Her get a confession, the tables turn, and her give a confession to him. And I think he might be at a point too where he says, I don't know. And I think that'd be kind of awesome too, because again, he has other options out there. He has Shinomiya, he has Shinonome or whatever her name is. He has Sasaki, Sasaki. And then he has the other disciplinary girl. So he has options now. So I would think it would be really cool for him to be I don't think we're right for each other. I think that would even set her ablaze even more. Then you have Aichi, right? I love Aichi, so. Anyway, they've gone too long. Library stuff, kind of over him and his part-time job. I'm going to leave it at that episode. This episode is good. I can't wait to see what happens next. Very excited. Peace out, my friends.